So Samsung dropped the Galaxy A36 and the Galaxy A56, and I've had them for a while now. If you're wondering, do I save that extra cash by getting the A36 or just go all in with the Galaxy A56, then I'll help you answer that. So let's not waste time. I've used both of these devices for a while now, tested their cameras, traveled with them, poked around the UI, and yes, compared them side by side in the most brutally honest way possible. So if you're thinking of grabbing one, this video is for you. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Now, if you place the Galaxy A36 and the A56 next to each other, you'd swear they are the same phone, but nope, look closer. The Galaxy A56 has a metal frame, while the Galaxy A36 is, that familiar plasticky edge we've seen on cheaper Samsung devices. Hold them in hand and it's clear that the Galaxy A56 feels more premium, more sturdy, and is just better. When you turn over to the back, you get glass back on both of these devices. IP67 water and dust resistance, but overall, the Galaxy A56 feels right, like something you can actually flex with even next to a flagship device. Both devices rock the same 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display, Full HD Plus resolution, and this buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate. And yes, they are brighter than last year's model, the Galaxy A35 and the Galaxy A55. So outdoor visibility is no stress with these smartphones. But the tiny win for the Galaxy A56 here is the slightly slimmer bezels. Nothing major, but when you're staring at the screen all day, you won't even notice these differences. But then again, if you want a definite winner, that win goes to the Galaxy A56's display. Over to performance, this is where things start to shift. Under the hood, the A36 runs on the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3, while the A56 uses Samsung's Exynos 1580 chipset, both of which are 4 nanometers. And in real-world use, the A56 is noticeably smoother. Uploading, multitasking, or even just scrolling through social media is faster on the A56. Plus, you can get up to 12 gigs of RAM on these devices and about 256 gigs of internal storage if you want to push it. When it comes to gaming, both would handle the basics like Call of Duty Mobile, but if you're trying to stretch your graphic settings a bit, the A56 holds up better for my test. I'm not going to say these are the best gaming devices out there, but as far as getting the job done, they are perfect. My win goes to the Galaxy A56 in this category. Both devices ship with Android 15 and One UI 7, and Samsung promises 6 years of update, which is wild for a mid-range device that isn't a Pixel device. We've come to love Samsung for these updates on the A series so far. You get all the new AI tricks too: circle to search, AI wallpaper generator, object eraser, and even some bonus camera smarts on the A56 like best face and auto trim for videos. Those are not on the Galaxy A36. If you love those tiny touches that make your smartphone feel smart, the A56 gives you more of them for AI. Both smartphones give you 50 megapixel main sensor, a 5 megapixel macro lens, but let's be honest, this one is just here for the spec sheet. When it comes to ultra wide, there is an 8 megapixel on the A36, while you get a 12 megapixel sensor on the Galaxy A56. In practice, the daylight shots are actually similar in most ways, like very similar. Even though there were a couple times when I actually did prefer the coloring on the Galaxy A56, like when I had the reds that popped more and the blues. When it comes to low light and also the ultra wide lenses, the Galaxy A56 has the edge, more detail, better dynamic range, and does a better job at cleaning up the noise. It's generally the better device to go for. Portrait mode, on the other hand, is also cleaner with the good background separation on the Galaxy A56, and you also get this 2x zoom portrait mode only on the A56. When it comes to videos, both smartphones can shoot up to 4K 30fps, but the A36 can't use ultra wides during 4K videos. For you to be able to use the ultra wide lens on the Galaxy A36, you'd have to step down the resolution to 1080p. For the front-facing video, for some reason, I actually did prefer the A36 mostly. I don't know what happened, but it kept coming on strong in good lighting. It looks more like a white balance and exposure thing that can be fixed in an update for the A56, but I preferred it slightly to the Galaxy A56. Front-facing photos are best on the A56 on the other hand, and I'd go with it anytime. Background separation is on point for portrait shots too. I generally would go with the A56 when it comes to the cameras on these guys. Both of the smartphones pack the same 5000 mAh battery and now support 45 watts fast charging, coming from the 25 watt charging speed we had last year. That's actually faster than the Galaxy S25, which charges at 25 watts, not the Ultra. I mean, make it make sense. You'll need to buy that charger separately, of course. But hey, no wireless charging here either, so don't expect miracles. For the pricing, you can get the A56 for 577,000 naira or around $380 for 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage configuration, while the A36 goes for the starting price of 460,000 naira or $300, and that's for 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. So that's an $80 difference for base units. Keep that in mind. Alright, which of these devices should you buy? If you're tight on budget and just want a phone that works, looks decent, and doesn't suck, then the Galaxy A36 will get the job done. But for just about 120,000 naira or $80 more, depending on where you live, the A56 feels like a way smarter buy. You get a more premium design, better performance, improved cameras, and more useful features baked into the software, like those AI features I mentioned earlier. In my opinion, the Galaxy A56 feels quite close to flagship devices, while the Galaxy A36 feels like a nicely dressed budget smartphone. And if you plan on holding your smartphone for 2 to 3 years, that performance gap will start to matter a lot. Another thing to consider instead of getting these devices would be getting the S23 FE for about $300, which is a better device than these devices here. You can actually check out my review on that device here. Catch you in that video. Day.